everyone, Daniel here from the Next Issue Podcast. Today's video is our final review recap for this season of The Wheel of Time. We will be talking about episode 8, The Eye of the World. And as always, spoilers ahead. You've been warned. Go watch this show. Go watch this series. Because I'll be talking spoilers probably for the full season, really. So go watch the show. Come back, watch this video. Yeah, this is the season finale. Only 8 episodes. Jeez, I thought we would be getting 10, but I really hadn't looked ahead. So, so this episode is called "The Eye of the World." The synopsis is: for 20 years, Moraine has dreamed and worked towards this moment, but she can't stop the Dragon Reborn from seeing the appeal of the dark. Yep. This is like. Yeah, we'll get into it. We'll get into it because it was overall, geez, it was really good. We start with a flashback to 3,000 years ago, where we meet the previous Dragon Reborn, talking to the Aes Sedai, who's in the high chair. So we can see that they were working together. They also speak in this old native tongue, as opposed to English or the common language in the series. There's a really interesting quote. The fate of the world was decided in the nursery. That's kind of where they're having an argument. And then we get this really cool reveal as the Dragon Reborn looks out the window, and it's like this super futuristic world. I'm talking about like flying cars and stuff. And these buildings with technology, like it was crazy. It was crazy because, yeah, I mean, you kind of have to see it to believe it, but it's kind of like the Jetsons, and then you go back to the Flintstones, and I hope people understand that reference if you're watching this video. Really cool. Just an awesome setup, not something I was expecting. So we, after the opening credits, which I will say I love the opening credits so much. They're really good. I love the whole, they use a loom to represent the Wheel of Time. That's very interesting. So we catch up with Rand and Moraine as they are walking through the Blight. Moraine warns Rand that, this is dangerous place. This is all dangerous. They know that they're ready to die for this, both of them. We see the 7 Towers of Malkier, which we learned in the previous episode is where Lan's kingdom and his home. And then after that, we get probably one of the coolest reveals of the season. Rand dreams of a conversation with the Dark One and learns a little bit about his own background. He learns that maybe his father wasn't his father, which we know from the previous episode. But we also see the Dark One personified. So we know that this image that a lot of these characters had been having with the creature with the fiery eyes is the Dark One. But he takes on this human form to communicate with Rand. The actor that did that, very well played. Let's see. So we talk about Moraine's always got a plan, and Rand knows this. So he asks her what's going on, what's the plan here. He knows that this is a dangerous mission. So Moraine explains that she brought this relic called the Sangreal, where all the power from the before, all these men channel their power into this thing, so it will multiply Rand's power 100-fold. So he will be able to trap the Dark One for 3,000 years, where he can harm no one once again. While we are going back on this trip, we flash back and forth to the city. Faldar multiple times. We see Nynaeve and Egwene trying to hear. But as in a flip from the beginning of the story, if you remember episode 1, Egwene always had issues trying to hear the wind. She heard a little bit of a whisper, but now she hears a scream, whereas Nynaeve, who was really good at listening, she can no longer hear once she started channeling. So we are... One thing I noticed, and I put this on my notes, I want to see some behind the scenes of this set of the Blight, like how much of it was constructed, how much of it's like practical effects versus maybe some green screen or CGI. because it felt truly like they were really in there walking through all this forest and this death. So that was really cool. The group, Elaine, Nynaeve, and Perrin go back to the bar to see the seer, and she sees people dying, like not just the group, but like other people around. This is when we kind of know that things are. We learn that the Dark Army hits the city as they sound the horn, and yeah, like things. So we have multiple things going on. We have Rand trying to prepare to meet against the Dark One. We have the city preparing for the arrival of the Dark One's army. Uh, Very cool. So as they arrive at the Eye of the World, Rand touches this sigil, which looks kind of like a yin yang, um, the balance between dark and light. He touches that, and he goes into his own head, or this illusion of like maybe what the world could be, or what he could have with Ewan and having a kid and all that stuff, like his maybe his inner desires of being able to be with her. Um, but we learn that this is all just a temptation from the Dark One to get him to channel, and therefore beginning his journey into the madness. Maybe even letting the Dark One live, and releasing him from his chains. We also see Moraine and the Dark One have a conversation, and as she starts channeling, he he really pretty much just backs up her power and like puts her down. So Moraine's only alternative as a backup plan is that if Rand does choose the dark, she's ready to kill him then and there. She pulls out a knife to his throat as Rand is kind of passed out while he's having all these memories. In the meanwhile, we get back to the city and we see the preparations with Lord and Amelisa, Lord Jagad and Amelisa, his sister, as they prepare their army. They have this really cool conversation where all the men are going to defend the gap. There's a little gap between the ridge that leads into the city. So the men are ready to defend that place, but they know that it's very likely that it will fall. And then the women who can channel will stay back to take on the army if they make it past the gap. So we get a really nice conversation between these actors, and we really understand how much this show and this story focuses on the power of everyone working together, but how in this world the women who can channel are really the ones that are the protectors. Um, Also, they have really really cool armors. Everybody kind of suits up. It's very cool costume design overall, and I think we've seen that throughout the whole season. Very cool costumes for everyone. All the characters, um, they look very unique, and it's easy to recognize, especially in a series that introduces so many characters. Sometimes it's kind of hard to keep track. I think that was one of my issues with the first few seasons of Game of Thrones, because everyone kind of had to, like, all the families kind of dressed alike. It was kind of hard to um, tell who everyone was up until you watch a few episodes. This one immediately, you can kind of tell. Also, Amazon has this really cool X-ray feature where if you swipe up, at least on my Apple TV, you can kind of tell who the actors are and who's in the scene. So it's very useful for taking notes as well. All right. Then we also realized that Lord Jagad's personal bodyguards they need to get something from under the throne, and then the group kind of splits up. That's left back at the city after all the foreigners have kind of left. Um, they're preparing to close down the city to protect it. So Nynaeve and Ewan, they are asked to um, help defend the city since they are able to channel, and then Perrin is kind of left with the builder, and they really don't know what to do. The builder he lives by the way of the leaf, so does not believe in violence and confrontation like this. And Perrin feels kind of helpless, but he gives him the builder gives him some good advice. So they begin to help uh, the Lord Jagat's personal escort as they are trying to get something from under the throne. We find out that under the throne we have the Horn of Bloody Valir, which calls the greatest heroes to support the Dragon Reborn in this fight against the Dark One. And that's going to be pretty important later on. So as the gap falls, the Trollocs come out, and as the armies approaches, we see Melissa and the other women, including Nynaeve and Egwene, channeling together. And oh my God, they took out that army of Trollocs like it was nothing, like it wasn't even there. But it did come at a price, because Lady Annalisa was not able to stop channeling, and this led to her killing the women that were helping her. Nynaeve sacrificed herself to disconnect Egwene from their connection, and saves her. So then we cut back to Rand back in his memories as the Dark One just really tempts him with, like, him being the Dragon Reborn means that he can really do whatever he wants and use that power to make the world however he feels like it in his image. So he tempts him with having a happy life with Egwene and a daughter in this world where it's peaceful. But all this will come at the price of the Dark One being let loose. So Rand finally changes his mind. He believes that this is not what Egwene would have wanted, and she would never want to be just a person that lives this peaceful life, because her goal was to make it to the White Tower and become an Aes Sedai. So because of that, Rand uses the relic, the Sangreal, to channel, and we see that the Dark One is blown away. Now, we don't know if this really is what's going to happen, because after that we learned that this really feels like it's just the first step. This all feels like it was part of the plan. One of the really interesting things we had been seeing Pasan Fane just faintly being around everywhere. Perrin was the one that was kind of seeing him all over the city. We find out that he is a dark friend that came in with some phase, and he came to steal the horn of Bloody Valir. So Perrin and the group, everyone dies who's with Perrin except for Perrin. And he tells them the truth that even though Rand is the Dragon Reborn, all 5 candidates are important. Some will turn to the dark. This is when we see Mat arrive back at the Dark City. And then we also see that we cut back to Egwene and Nynaeve, and as she's dying, Egwene saves her by channeling and healing her. We know that all the chosen ones are kind of left in different places. We see that Rand asks Moraine to not tell the group where he is going, because now that he has channeled, his only way is as a man that channeled. Only madness will follow him in the future. So Lan finally makes it to Moraine through the Blight, and as we get there, he asks Moraine to restore the connection between them, but Moraine lets him know that the Dark One has taken her ability to get in touch with the Source, so she doesn't have any powers. That scene was really, really powerful, I think, and I think it's Rosamund Pike. Like I said, I think she's been the MVP of the show. She's great. I think all the other actors are very good, but just Rosamund Pike, because she put the show on her back. So I'm very glad that she's still around. I do have a few questions kind of towards the end, because this is kind of the end of it. We see that a piece of the Heartstone has been broken, and Moraine has it now. And then we cut to this prologue in the far western shore, which is a place that we had not visited yet. And these ships, this armada of ships arrive, and they contain some powerful channeler. Like, these women channeled like a tidal wave, and then that's how the show ends for season 1. So yeah, overall, man, I am very excited, but also full of questions about what's going to happen in season 1. What, as the ramifications, because this looks like it's just the beginning. This was the first fight in many battles to come, as Moraine kind of points out at the end of the episode. So yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for the future of this series. and how we're going to be covering it on the channel. In the future, we hope to maybe cover some of the comics, maybe read up. I don't want to read ahead of what's in the show, so I'm going to take my time. Hopefully we'll get more of this stuff and it won't be too long, but it does seem like they're putting so much effort into this show that the production value I really like. So hopefully the show's successful. Hopefully people are watching. I think right now this is the perfect time during this holiday break for people to watch it. So we'll be promoting it on the channel, and making sure that people want, if they want to watch our videos. So yeah, but let me know down in the comments, what did you think of this season 1? What questions do you have now going forward? I'll probably make a video in the future about maybe some questions that we're left with. Book readers, we know that you guys know what's going on in the future. But the question I have for any book readers is, how far did we get into the books? And also, what do you think of the adaptation so far? Maybe what are some of your favorite things? What are some things that maybe we didn't see that you don't think is going to be in the show? All that kind of stuff. Leave us some comments, But yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. This has been a really cool journey of like discovering this trailer, meeting some of the fandom, learning a little bit about all the work of this long series of books, and now watching all season 1 and making these videos individually. We don't normally do videos for every episode of a show, but I'm glad we're following the Wheel of Time. I think it's going to be a fun ride. So yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Remember to share, like, subscribe, hit the bell so you know when we go live. That is most Sundays, 10 a.m. Central Standard Time. And just stay tuned because we'll have more videos about the Wheel of Time. I'm thinking about reading some of the comics just to check those out, see what that adaptation looks like. Also, we'll be covering more trailer reactions. We'll have more movie reviews, comic reviews, all that good stuff that that's in the channel. Also, check out our Patreon. We have a link in the description. And yeah, we look forward to the new year. So enjoy the holidays. And thanks everyone for watching. Bye-bye.